What's up, guys? I'm here again. I'm here with my friend Nick. I know him from work.
Hey guys, how are you?
We are just drinking coconut water, C2O, of course. He has never tried it before. How do you like it?
It's pretty good. It's not the worst coconut water.
It's almost like wood.
Yeah, it has a weird
like in a good way though, like pencil shavings.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of almond milk, but just more watery. Like kind of
like Cheerios, the unsweet Cheerios.
Yeah,
that's what it's kind of like.
True. Very, very good. I needed to rehydrate, as Julian told me, just because I did have an alcoholic beverage. So.
Now you don't gotta look in the camera or anything. All natural. We're all good. If you feel pressured on that. So Nick is an amazing human being. I know him from work. I thought he would be perfect for the podcast.
Love you, Julian.
The best things about you, man, are like, one, you're just always like, at least you present yourself as very positive, and I feel like you have a huge impact on the morale on the team entirely. And that's very rare. That's very rare, and it's very difficult to maintain throughout life as well. Mm-hmm. Everybody can kind of get that high, but not everybody can keep it. But you kind of seem like a genuine one. At least you present it very well.
No, it's all an act.
It's all an act, yeah.
No, thank you so much. I did not pay him to say that, but...
And that's 100% serious, too.
Thank you. No, I just try to just live each day just being like that, my free, like, authentic self, and I'm glad, like, you know, like, I am genuine. I always try to do things from the heart because I'm just not that one to, like, fake it. Like, I think just in the past, like, I just had to, being younger, being gay, like, that probably had something to do with it. Crap, I feel like I'm spiraling, but, like...
You're good, you're good.
But no, I feel like I always try to be my real self because I know what it's just... I just always want to make people happy because I... Kind of like Robin Williams, he always wanted to make people happy, and I want to be like that for some people and inspiring.
That's quite the reference.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he was a good dude. You know the whole stories with him and the gorilla?
No.
Really?
No.
Really? Coco the gorilla? The gorilla that could do sign language?
Maybe I've heard of it.
So he became friends with one of the very few legitimate sign language speaking gorillas, because the problem with teaching a lot of these animals sign language is they start to lie with it. So they will tell you stuff that's not even important, and it's like the communication very devolves quickly. But Coco was very genuine with what she talked about. There's a lot of debate on that, but he actually became friends with Coco.
Wow.
And when he revisited, she like did like the sign for happy and everything. Yeah.
Wow. So it's not a movie or anything?
No. Real. 100% real. Yeah. And
look this up.
Which this is fucked up. If you're asking me, this is kind of fucked up. They told her that he died.
Wow.
And she did the sign language for cry. You like how I'm doing it like I know it?
Yeah.
It's like legit.
I believed you 100% when you were doing that sign language.
You can pay me for a political event easily.
Yes, we can. Oh my god. So they told when he was like working on the animal and everything like that, the gorilla was crying out to him?
No, they were like, Robin Williams died.
Oh my god.
They told the gorilla that he fucking died.
Oh my god. Yeah, who does that?
Why are you traumatizing a gorilla?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, come on, that gorilla really needs to know that Robin Williams died?
Yeah, and what's so crazy, I remember it was like 2018 he died, I believe, or around that time,
years
but
ago,
yeah, but there was so much controversy, like, I don't even know what he died from, like, later on I saw a magazine he died from suicide, but then I thought it was, I don't know, I thought he just, maybe, I don't know, it was so weird, I just thought there was, like, more than one, like, reason for people, like, were acting like he died from a certain thing, but I didn't even know it. Oh, somebody said it. No, it was a magazine, like, he could have been murdered. That was it. It was between murder and suicide, and I was like, whoa, like, maybe...
I've never heard that side
really?
of it. What if it was like Jim Carrey put a hit out onto Robin Williams? He was like, too much competition.
True. Oh my god, I love Jim scary.
I think that's a better story to go with, even if it's not true. I think that's better.
So I was so confused. Like I did not know what to believe. I'm like, how did he die?
It was suicide.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It makes sense though. They say like the happiest looking people are the saddest.
I know.
It's tough. It's sad stuff, but on top of that too, not to go too dark, but I was just looking into male suicide rates in the nation, and it's apparently, at least since 2010, I might be off by a year or two, but it's been increasing 1.25% every single year on the male spectrum specifically. So male suicide's increasing 1.25% every single year. When you talk about just 1% of a population being affected by cancer, that's a gigantic number.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about 1.25% every year of more men who commit suicide, that's gigantic.
Yeah.
I looked and they said between the ages of like 15 and 35, your fifth leading cause odds of death were suicide. And then it drops between like 25 and 45. And then from 45 to 65, it goes higher than 15 to 25. It goes up to like your fourth leading odd of dying. So you're more likely to commit suicide when you're older than when you are younger.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is, because I feel like it's so thrown like it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
But it's not talked about, but it's been rapidly increasing.
Wow. It makes more sense because like there's so much more pressure as you age and get older, like more responsibility. But I know like the high school and all that drama can be into it, but
that was a horrible representation of what the world was gonna be like. Those people are monsters.
Oh my God.
If that happened, like if your workplace was like like high school was, people would be arrested left and right.
Oh my God.
If you think about it, so like I use that mentality, and I'm like, if I had that in my head when I was in school, I'm like, how many of you are going to be prisoners? How many of you are going to be like murderers? How many of you are going to be like child molesters? I'm like,
oh my, it's so crazy to think about.
All those people packed in that one room.
Wow.
And then give them all 70 years. And then give them the same roll of the dice. And then look at the odds. Those numbers are real. You know what I mean? And then you start thinking about the teachers and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. We're kind of like pretending we're held together, like civilization. Like if you really think about it, there's no reason why people are as nice as they really are. Like everyone kind of just follows these rules, which now we're seeing start to fall apart.
Yeah, we're taking your own path.
Yeah.
It gets away. Yeah,
it's time.
It's time to break free of like all of that, kind of like that perfection.
Yeah,
I feel like that has been thrown. It's around. I know what you mean. Good for us.
Yeah, except for the suicide rates.
Oh yeah,
those were bad. What was it? I saw someone said that it might be because in the day of entertainment, we are given examples of people who live these honorable lives or die in an honorable way or do this heroic, magical thing that makes their life completely wiped away, worth it. Yeah. And it's like, you're never going to have that. Like, that's not a real reality for you. We're not like knights on horseback. You know what I mean? So you're not going to be that king. You're going to be a dude who lives an average life, probably. Yeah. So then when you have that thought in your mind, it's probably pressure. Like I'm just going to work a cubicle and be okay with that. When I see these people who are getting a job, like this girl's just selling makeup, this girl's on YouTube, this dude is doing movies, this dude's an actor. The odds are you're probably not going to be able to do that. So how do you find a way to be happy with not doing that, but also living a fulfilling life? Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people struggle. Yeah. I think it really has
That's very true.
Lack of community, I think, is the number one thing. Yeah. I think we need a way to like reintegrate community all over again. I was even wondering if like ideally we should restructure cities to only hold a certain population. And there should be qualifications within those populations. Obviously, this is an idealistic approach because you can never implement this. Humans are too unpredictable. Yeah. It could go either way. But I always thought it would be cool because you would know exactly, like, if you worked for, like, the coal factory there, you were the person giving the coal to the people. You were specifically supplying a demand that they needed. So everybody, could be... everybody could be paid, like, a fair wage and have a decent life because they're all equally a necessity to the community. And not only that, they would know they're a necessity because only one person fills that spot, and that's you. Yeah. And if you don't do it, someone else will. So you got to hold that spot because you do this for these people. Idealistic, because obviously people start creating their own nations immediately. Just start separating. But
rebellion. You gotta...
That makes sense, though. You know what I mean? Because, like, they say it's easier for someone to get raped in a crowd of 1,000 people than a crowd of 100 people.
Wow.
And it's just because of the shared anonymity. Nobody feels like they need to step in because nobody's stepping in.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have 100 people, you have a higher odds of somebody stepping in because there's less people to look at. There's less people to bounce your own decision off of.
Yeah, wow. That is a really interesting point because more people, like, creates that pressure of, like, should I do anything? Because then it's like more people don't like to be looked at as is. People, some just, if you're just your regular day type of individual, like, you don't want to be seen from the crowd. So it's just like, now you have to worry about others' opinion for jumping in on, because we're so conditioned, like, okay, we got to treat that as none of our business, but it's just like, even though society as a whole, like, kind of the illusion of, like, being together, we're separated so much with, like, we're supposed to mind our own business and we're not supposed to get involved, but it's just like, if we were really, like, united and together, we should.
Yeah, but why is that? Like, shouldn't it be the other way around?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like you said it, which means that that's an idea that's implemented into our brains, that we're supposed to mind our own business.
Yeah.
But when did it become that way?
Very true.
You know what I mean?
My mom. Yes, I know.
Because if you were in a tribe of like 30 people, you're not minding your own business. That dude's over there hacking off the legs of another dude. Yeah. You're like, this dude's fucking crazy. We gotta kill him. You know what I mean? We're not just gonna look over here. He's gonna kill us one day.
It's really sad. Yeah, it is really sad. I know.
If you had a crazy person who was like, no, we're gonna separate this tribe into two, you'd be like, this dude's a motherfucking crazy person. I don't know the last time he hunted. Get him out of here. We kick him out. You know what I mean? We would manage our own health.
Yeah, I guess it's more so we're more divided, even though it's like the illusion of like media.
Connectivity.
Yeah. It definitely has to do with like media, like the polarization, but just we are so divided. I think it's just as time progressed, like, can't put into words, but just becoming like really more divided. I can't even come up with the words right now, but.
Well, it's funny because we went from like tiny little groups. If you're following the theory of evolution, tiny little groups of like monkeys that hung around with each other, sapiens, but then tribes, and those tribes were thank you. Those tribes were bigger groups of people, but they were still segregated to cities, which were a lot more people, but multiple cities, so still segregated. To whole countries that are even more people. But it's funny that we're growing to try to be a group. At the same time, we're also growing to separate each other. It's an equal amount of growth in each way. So there's an equal amount of more people coming together to more separation.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's a good point.
It's interesting. And getting back to the whole rape scenario, which is a great topic.
Sounded great, yes.
Yeah, that's a joke. That's a joke. You're gonna tell me 1,000 people have had a good enough life to value other people's lives the same way that they've been treated? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like 100 people, there's more of an odds. Like even if it's the same ratio, it's less. You know what I mean? But too many people and the unemployment rates. I mean. Even if you have a job, a lot of jobs are soul crushing. Just getting a job isn't fulfilling. That sometimes is the problem. Yeah. So it's like, how do you get people to feel fulfilled within their own life? Well, it's not capitalism. It's not consumerism. Because we've all splurged money on shit and then just fucking been like, I don't even use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything you...
You're like, I'm going to be a photographer now. Yeah. You're like 300 on a camera that's sitting in your car still.
Yeah, I know. It's constantly what you need. Like, I know. That brings up, like, I always go in my notes. Like, I always write everything in my notes on my phone. And I, like, look back at, like, things, like, I still have from, like, 2 years ago that I wanted. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's not important now that I still haven't got. But, yeah, like you said, like, we have too much, like, what we really don't need. We realize, like, I think when you become like more aware of everything and like just being happy and grateful for what you have has something to do with it too. But
more aware of yourself.
Yeah, you realize even though like you think you need all these things, you realize how little you need. That's what I've realized.
Yeah.
Now at this point in my life.
yeah, and you know, at least in my own experience, I've had a couple of these moments where it's been like a whole new outlook. I'm gonna burp again. It's been like a whole new outlook on life, and what's crazy to me is that I don't think that stops, and I don't think that should stop.
Yeah.
Like if you ever look back like 2 or 3 years, and you're like that version of me didn't know nothing. Like you know what I mean? But if you do that every 2 or 3 years back more, each one of those were still you, and each one of those got to where you are. Yeah. So when you're looking at where you are now, comparing it to the past you, then you gotta imagine that 2 years down from now, you're gonna look back and say the same thing about where you are right now.
That is so crazy to think about.
Yeah. And I think like that's the point is like to.
And you need yourself at those points. Like you need like yourself now and yourself like from 2 years ago. Like
that's a good point
to get on that ladder. Yeah.
That's a good point too.
To rise up. So it's just like you needed yourself to be that way at that certain time to make it to whatever you needed to accomplish your goal or whatever it was. Yeah.
That's a good point too. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. That's a good point because you don't want to state that was a wrong version of you. You want to state that was a necessary version of you because that version of you made you. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So if you kind of think about it, who you are right now, you can make yourself into be anything. Yeah. If only we all had that motivation. You know what I mean? Like if you had somebody...
A lot of things are on the back burner, I know.
Yeah. Well, life is difficult. Yeah. Like think about how much time you have versus how much time you don't have. And then there's like the alternative where you have a lot of time and then you don't have a lot of people. Like a lot of these things can be problems. And I found like with myself I had a lot of time, but I didn't have a lot of people. So now I got everything. Like I got my apartment, I got my car, I got a job. It's a good one. I love it. I want to stay there. Why am I not happy? Yeah. Well, so I hang out with my sister like once a week. That's something. That's good. And you know, like I struggled with depression, anxiety for a long time to the point where I still do. And there's like levels to it that you kind of come into and then you kind of come out of. And sometimes you can cycle back into it. And I heard...
Especially with having all that free time, it's so, it's so easy to go down that hole.
Well, I feel like...
just in back into that mentality.
Yeah, and so much of life is momentum. You know what I mean? Because, like, think about it. If you had to think about every moment, oh my God, how would you get anything done? If you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, sometimes you can't. Like, that's why sometimes... You ever had one of those moments where you look back and you're like, oh my God, like, I'm a completely different person now. Yeah. And it's like, when you're looking at that moment... Fuck, I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
Kind of
this
like...
happens to me sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're good. Like, you were talking about how you're different versions of yourself at certain points in your life, but you were more going on the fact that... Dang, now I'm like, can I even remember? No. You were...
Non-scripted.
I know, literally. Kind of...
Oh, yeah.
From 2 years...
Yeah. Sorry. I found it.
Okay.
I was talking...
I'm glad somebody did. So sorry. We're getting it together here.
I was talking about like how like I struggle with anxiety and depression, and there's like a lot of moments in my life that like I kind of realize something that gives me like a new outlook, and then you can always fall back down. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think the trick is not to let it beat you. You know what I mean? Because, you can be like, a lot of people live out their life talking about when they used to play football in high school.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And it's because they thought that was their peak. They let that be their thing. Yeah. Life isn't just up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of the times, like, and we can have moments where it's up, 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 to the point where we haven't had a down in a while, to where once we get a down, then it goes down because we haven't had that in a while. And then we're thinking things are going down. But the trick is at that moment to realize that you got to go back up. But it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it brings up, like, about normally people when, like, they do really good in high school, they end up, like, it's like that's like their prime time. Like, they're doing so much, and it's kind of like
they thought that was their achievement.
Yeah, so, like, but also I feel like not like, where did I read this from, but it's certain people believe that if you had, like, a really good life, like a really successful, like really rich, fulfilling life, like your afterlife would be, like, worse, so it flips off. I don't know if you heard of that. I know it's really a weird thing to talk about. But, okay, so I know, but it's a really
evil reincarnation.
Yeah, it's really evil. I don't know, but it's basically kind of like you do really good in the beginning stages of your life to it flipping in, like, later years in your life. So your best and happiest moments probably was, let's say, your, like, primary education, but then after that it, like, flips to, like, you being maybe not as where you wanted to be, or, like, just it really flipping around completely. So, like, then so it's crazy. I think you just need to go through, like you kind of said, those, like, wavelengths, like, but to try to get back up, because each of them teach us, and we all need different lessons than one another. So I know that was a really weird comparison.
No, it made sense completely.
It came around.
I heard this cool way of expressing it. Someone said, not cool way. Somebody, I don't remember who, but it was a study on serotonin and dopamine production in people pre, current, and post-depression. If there is post-depression.
Yeah.
But what they noticed was that there's a weird effect that happens when you get hit with a heavy depression, because there's different degrees to it. When you get, like, a death of a family member or something, they say sometimes you can hit the jackpot for depression. You can hit it, and that's got a time limit on it. And that time limit could take a couple years to come back off. Wow. So you could struggle with this low level of happiness for a very, very, very long time. And I think in that moment, I think a lot of people get there. And I think a lot of people think that, like, that's their life now. And they allow it to get to them. And then they start going down. They start getting bitter and upset. And I think no one teaches us. No one teaches us how to deal with the highs, the lows, and the plateaus in life. Like, when you achieve something, what do you do after that? After that thing that you achieved, what do you do?
You don't know. You have to dream of another thing.
You gotta come up with something else.
But then it's really hard because you
spent your whole energy doing that.
It is really great. Like,
and what if you weren't as happy once you achieved it? It wasn't the feeling you thought you'd have. What if you feel the same as before?
Oh my god, yeah.
No one teaches us how to deal with that.
It reminds me of that Billie Eilish song, Everything I Wanted. Have you heard it?
Probably.
Okay, but basically she was, it's kind of how she's at the peak of her success and everything, and it's not everything that she expected it to be, but it does have, like, its low points and everything. But like you were saying, you kind of, once you spend your whole entire life, that's, like, you know, what's next after that? Like, it's kind of scary to think of, like, when you're actually there. And some people even are scared of success for that reason, because it's like, what's next? Because that's all they hope for this world. But I guess it's just, you constantly just have to shapeshift, and just like the world we are, like, and the life we do have, we have to constantly evolve to, like, everything new. But she was, to go back to Billie Eilish, since that was, like, weird reference, but she
die before you die.
Yeah. But yeah, she was saying, like, was it kind of everything she wanted? And it was kind of like, there's still more. And it's like, when we're trying to, like, we kind of, like, let go of, like, all these things, and we don't live in the moment when we're trying to achieve such, like, greatness. And it's of like all this, it's really, and it's really difficult to, like, balance all these things.
Yeah.
So, but she was saying, like, was it kind of everything she envisioned? And it's like, she was scared because she is at the top kind of like what you're saying, like what
Young,
to do next when you win all these things.
Too.
Oh yeah, she's like I think only 18. I don't know, but she's so young. Yeah.
And like I was saying about the every 2 to 3 years, like when you look at yourself and look at who you were and who you are, who she isn't even who she wants to be yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's so I know. I was so different at like that age.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. I was a complete
how were
different
you?
person. I'll be honest with you. I was an asshole. I was, but it gets back to a necessity at that point in time. I had a difficult upbringing. It wasn't the greatest, but I mean, comparison could have been worse. That wasn't my voice shaking. That was me trying to deal with indigestion.
For clarification.
But I found myself, I had one experience that happened when I was 17 years old. When I was 17 years old. Let me specify that.
Yeah.
So Jeff Goldblum kind of talked about this before, and I'm going to try to keep this all together. Yeah. Because it's a little bit of a tangent. But Jeff Goldblum, the dude from Jurassic Park with the glasses, you know what I'm talking about? He talks like this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Did I do that pretty well?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. He was talking about, I saw it on, it was either Daily Show. Yeah, it was the Daily Show. Back when Jon Stewart did the Daily Show. And he said that some people do not feel the effects of LSD. And I found that very interesting. And he says that what can happen, and I might be misquoting this part. I did get the first part correct, but I might be misquoting the last part. But he says, but it can affect you at a certain point. So you might take it a couple times and it won't do anything, but then it might do something that one time. And then it'll work every single time. But what's weird is that LSD blocks your synapses. Contrary to what people believe, it does not actually it does create more activity in the brain, but not how you'd think. It blocks off your synapses from communicating. So they're no longer communicating to each other. So you're hallucinating and getting these effects because of the lack of communication, not because of the heightened perception.
Wow.
It's actually removing more stuff that actually lets you see more.
Wow, that's funny because people take it to
Opposite.
Have that effect.
Mushrooms, same thing. They say the same thing about mushrooms.
In another dimension, yeah.
They say that it blocks your synapses, but what's interesting is blocking the synapses forces the brain to find new pathways. So you create new pathways. Theoretically, and I'm not a scientist, I just like to play with ideas, but in my head, I could imagine that you could theoretically block someone's synapses who has brain damage to be able to realign the neural links in those areas by forcing the synapses to find new pathways. I'm not a scientist.
That would honestly
might be bullshit.
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Could work, yeah.
But they're illegal. They're illicit. I mean, I think mushrooms is like Schedule 3. But like drugs like marijuana and stuff, Schedule 1. You know what that means? Ultimately, the most important thing that means, you're not allowed to do research on it. So, it's illegal, and we're not even going to look at it to see if it's not beneficial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, it causes cancer, but we're not going to look into it because it's Schedule 1. It's a fucking catch-22. But,
oh my gosh.
So you can't research these drugs that potentially could fix a lot of the issues we have.
And population control. No, I'm kidding. No, we won't get into that.
It is true.
They want us dead. I'm kidding.
But I had a very intense experience with LSD one time. I was one of those people who did not get it because I took it 3 times and nothing ever happened. And then the third time it happened, I took a lot. I took 3 doses, 3 tabs. And my friends were supposed to come over. And this is going off of the story of who I was when I was 17 before this experience. I was a complete asshole. I did not like who I was, and I saw that afterward. But it took this experience for that to occur. Yeah. It blocked my synapses completely, and I got what they call as ego death. And ego death is essentially the best way to describe it is you're sitting there, you're looking at the TV, your heart's racing, you start panicking, then your vision zooms into the TV. And all you see is the TV. There's no more peripherals around it. There's just the TV. And then everything freezes. And then there's nothing. And you don't even know there's nothing. You don't know there's nothing because nothing's going on anymore.
So you don't know if you're enjoying peace and quiet.
You're literally, you go panic to nothing. And then the only reason you know that it's nothing is because you start coming back eventually. When you come back, it's like ran, and then the colors start coming back, and you're looking at a different wall than where you were looking before. and you realize the difference of where you were before to where you are now. And then you're like, oh shit, I'm dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you fucking panic again, and then boom, right back into it for 8 hours.
Oh my god.
Now that was when I was 17 years old, and what ended up happening was I broke up with my girlfriend 2 weeks before that. I was trying to hook up with a bunch of different girls. Like I said, I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best of person.
Who is at age 17?
And I called her on my phone, and I couldn't even see the buttons on my phone because they were levitating off to the side.
Yeah.
So I had to use Siri. Thank God for Siri.
Oh,
I used Siri.
We love her.
I called her, and she came over, and the second she walked through my bedroom door, boom, I was here. Like, I was back to normal.
Wow.
I was still, like, seeing, like, different patterns and stuff, but I was here. Like, I could talk, I could see, I wasn't leaving anymore. And I thought that was very profound. I thought it was very interesting that once a different person showed up, and it wasn't just me, then all of a sudden I'm bound back to this reality. I thought that was interesting.
That is really cool.
I saw these strings everywhere, and I could move the strings. And when I went outside, it was winter in New York. Winter in New York. I went outside in a t-shirt and shorts. 12 o'clock at night. Sky, black clouds. I can see it like projector lights going through the clouds. Like the sky is white. Like I can see light everywhere. And I'm not cold at all. I don't even feel it's probably like 20 degrees out, not even, with a wind chill. And I don't feel nothing.
Wow.
And, you know, that night I looked in the mirror. And my eyes were puffy from crying, because I was crying. I thought I was dying. And I looked in the mirror, and I'm seeing this tough dude who's crying, and he's scared that he was gonna die. And I started realizing that, like, I didn't know who I was. I was like, that's not me, because now look at me, I'm crying. I'm crying in the mirror because I'm scared of dying. And I was supposed to be this tough dude who didn't care about anybody. So it changed my life. It changed my life completely.
That's amazing.
That literally changed my life and made me who I was today. Because I was built on momentum. I was a personality profile type that had to deal with my home and then had to deal with my life. So it was like I had to be that person. But this woke me up. And that set me on this crazy journey to where I am now.
That's beautiful. Wow, that's honestly really interesting. That's amazing, Julian.
Well, it's funny to talk about drug use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some of the most profound things that can happen to you is involving drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be caffeine, whether it be nicotine. I mean, just the basis of how you feel happy is serotonin and dopamine, which are drugs being produced in your brain. We don't go experiences without drugs. That's all we have. But just to separate that, because they're definitely different, some of the most profound things that happened to me were illicit. You know what I mean? But they made me who I am. And it's like, I use those things from that point onward to try to discover more about the universe and see if I could tap into other stuff. I went through this crazy spiritual hippie thing where I was like,
I'm all into that.
I wonder if I can communicate with different beings, because I got into a deep end with like aliens, with spirituality and everything, and I was like, there's this dude named like Eddie Bravo, and Joe Rogan always talks about him. He's like a conspiracy nut, and he'll go crazy about it. He'll just go off. I mean, he's better now, but he was me. Like, I mean, I was him. I was believing everything, and then it's like at a certain point, I started pulling back. It was an interesting story arc, because I was an atheist. Like, literally as young as I can remember, I was an atheist. And then, like, I remember I was very scientific, very logical. People were like, do you believe in aliens? I was like, yeah, they exist, but they're not coming here.
Nonchalantly.
Yeah, I was like, they're not.
Yeah, they exist.
I was like, they exist, but they're not coming here.
Yeah.
Like, the odds are just too profound. I mean, we already have bacteria and planets in our own solar system. You're going to tell me there's not people or animals on other planets? Like, the odds.
No,
have you ever even seen how much they predicted how many planets? Because we have to only get snapshots from like a telescope that gives us only ranges over time. And the thing is, a percentage of those are already dead. The stars are already gone, and a percentage of stars are brand new, and we can't really time lapse it because of the gigantic nature of it. You're gonna say it's just one planet?
No,
I don't think
come
that.
on. Yeah.
But then I was like, yeah, aliens are real. Aliens are real. Went through this whole thing. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I got pretty deep into that, and then you got to pull out after a while. Then you got to start looking at facts. You got to start picking and choosing what you're really going to follow. You know what I mean? There's a very fine line between watching UFO videos and flat earth videos. You know what I mean? But they're in the same boat, and you can drift. You know what I mean? That's a slippery slope to go down.
Yeah, it is. I think you have to, like, oh my God, yeah. Because I was living, I'm originally from Maine, but more so what I liked about that, like, side and that culture, like, more northeast, in the U.S. is that more of that like hippie mentality, and I feel like down here in Florida it's not so like it's more so Christianity, and that's pretty much it. But I was really thankful because I did my senior year up there, and I also got to finally enjoy like the Four Seasons more, even though I was born there, but I left when I was 5. But more so it's really interesting, like the hippie side and all of that. But it's funny what you said, like going through that whole entire like phase of just the conspiracies. It's like so true. I feel like you have to be like a hippie, like in that way aspect. Like you kind of have to go through, because I had like hippie friends, and she does like polarity. One of my friends that I met that really introduced me to like that new lifestyle, because I never even knew anything about like, because I mostly grew up in Florida, so I didn't even know that really existed with like full on energy. And she does like energy work now on like veterans, so that's really amazing, and it's called polarity. And she also did it on me, like, with, like, crystals and everything. And, like, it aligns your, like, chakras. So it's really interesting. Would recommend you doing polarity, Julian. You would really like it. But she's all into conspiracy theories. And she also doesn't use, like, fluoride toothpaste. I don't know if you use fluoride toothpaste. So, like, she also now...
I use charcoal.
Okay, and it doesn't have fluoride?
No.
Okay, but she's all about that. But it's just funny that you bring that up. And, like, you probably experienced that maybe even in New York, but their bumper stickers are, like, all hippie, and it's, like,
the
peace, earth,
equality.
Oh, yeah, all throughout.
With all
like,
the religion symbols on it.
But I feel it's just funny, like, the difference in, like, culture compared to, like, here and there. But that's what it reminded me of, because, like, she believes in so many conspiracy theories and everything like that. But I feel like most hippies do, because you just kind of have to be, like, so free, and it's about not trusting everything you hear. And I think that's the more foundation of, like, that hippie lifestyle, so it's understandable. But I know what you mean. You need to pull back and kind of just...
make sure you don't go off the deep end.
Yeah. More so,
Well, it's true. It's not like conspiracies weren't always true. Like, there's a lot of conspiracies that are 100% true, and that aren't even conspiracies, but when you talk about them, they sound like conspiracies. Like the Bay of Pigs, and the most recent one, which is 9/11, but we could just... I'm not going to delve deep into, like, a lot of stuff like that, but very, very fucking pretty evidential that there was a lot of fuckery going on there. There was a lot of weird shit going on in that whole situation. And I don't think any of us at this point, I think that's a very, very interesting thing about our generation specifically, is that nobody buys the 9/11 story. No one our age buys it. Not a single goddamn person. But think about the people who are just 10 years older than us. Think about just 20 years older than us. And then, that's just everybody from that point up. But it's very interesting, and I mean, it makes sense what's going on in the world right now, because you have this whole new way of thinking, and people who don't trust what's already happened. And why? Well, we weren't really told the truth on everything, you know what I mean? And like, I think this is all due to, honestly, it's interesting. The internet has been a better educator for people than our own education systems. And it's to the point where they should have been funding the education more. Because, like, you experience budget cuts in your own schools. Like, think about the classes that existed that didn't exist anymore. Or think about, like, now you got to go to the separate schools, so you got to qualify for it because they're no longer able to do it in their own school. You got a textbook that's 15, 20 years old. Or 50. I had one that was 50 years old in high school. Yeah. So how much of that's accurate? How much of that have we rewritten already? They say every 3 years, everything you learn is already rewritten, or at least changed to the point where you need to re-research.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think them cutting the education has given this whole it's made it possible for people to say, well, I can pick and choose what I want to believe because you've lied to us about enough already. I'm going to... Oh, shit. Fuck that up. Whew, that's going to be on video, too. It's all live. It's all live.
Yay.
Good. Back to normal. Everything's good.
We are.
Perfect. I just fucked up the camera. You see that?
Yeah. Okay, Julian. It was a good conversation. It was needed for the camera to go.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I think it's like it's made it possible because there's been so many lies already told. It's made it possible for people to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I do feel like there's a lot of weird shit that's going on with articles, and it is, I think, a valid point to state who do you believe at this point. Mm-hmm. Like I started noticing during the Obama administration, I was following a bunch of like I fucking love science, which is a group which I like them. But I started noticing there was a lot of studies, and I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But it just seemed like there was paid studies to produce an actual, and all they are is a group that's supposed to give you the information. They're not the ones doing the work. They're not the ones. They're the article writers. You know what I mean? So it's not their fault. But it was like bad science, and it was paid studies. So it was like they were paying for studies to promote and produce an effect. Like, for example, if you go in and you do a study and you say, we're going for we want to try this new wristband, helps you with your balance. And you go in there. And they try to go in with the intent, they tell you, all right, this is supposed to improve your balance. And then you start doing the tests and you're like, how do you feel with it? And you're like, oh, I feel more balanced. And you take it off and you'll be like, oh, I don't feel that much balance. You already have affected the study by already suggesting what the outcome should be. Not only that, placebo's
so
real.
True.
Yeah, well, placebo's the realest thing in the world. Those wristbands that went around, do you remember that?
I do. I feel now I don't see as much people wearing them.
No,
like,
thank God.
But like
the little like tinfoil hologram on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. Did you have one or
no? But
you were like,
but that's what's weird is placebo's real. So like, by them believing that's gonna make them more balanced, it does make them. It does make them more balanced. They do that with sugar pills. When they do tests with people, it's called a placebo, which is just a sugar pill. You tell them this is gonna give you this effect. It still has the effect on them, even though it's just a sugar pill.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's all about believing. Yeah.
So what if we could do good lies instead of bad lies? Could we manufacture? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we gave people bracelets that said like this makes you like a better person or this makes you healthy or something.
Bracelets for like kindness. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Separate them, love.
But get people to believe it, it would have extraordinary effects on their actual behaviors.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, we need to come up with this right now.
Yeah. It might be a scam.
This is the problem. They'll come for us.
Yeah. Bracelets part 2.
Yes. Something soon. Out now. But very, very well said, Julian. You're full of wisdom. This is why I hang out with you.
Don't believe a thing I say.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm just good at articulating to a degree. Sometimes it starts getting chopped up.
No. That's what happens with all this information. Like, we get flooded with information. It's it's so hard to know what to believe or not to believe.
Have you ever just sat on the couch with no TV on?
I have.
With your phone not with you?
No, I haven't. No.
Have you ever left the house without your phone?
I actually have. I'm not that. I do try to do social cleanses.
But you feel that, you know what I mean?
I do, and it is crazy because I was just thinking about not too long ago. I was talking to my friend that it's kind of like I don't remember, like, just one day I woke up and started checking my phone, and it became like this whole entire like addiction. Yeah. And you don't remember in between. You don't remember how you get to a certain point, like certain things in your life like bring up that and
popularity.
Maybe I'm popular. No. But yeah, so it's just I do try to do social cleanses, but you always wonder like how
social
do you get
cleanses? There's a word for it.
Yeah, there is. Do you do social cleanses? Really?
No,
do you have an Instagram?
Well, so I do, but I don't use it.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to do photography for it, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I deleted a lot of stuff off of it. My goal
That's good. Less social media, or
17, and everything changed. I started removing all my photos, everything.
Wow.
Stopped using everything.
Because it's energy drainers.
Yeah. Not only that, it's not true connections, and you see what Facebook is today.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was like that back then too. It was just us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I realized that, I was like, all right, I'm not doing this no more. And then also,
yeah, us contributing to that, or just
we were the first generation to. I don't think we've realized how much of our past has been recorded, and how if we looked at certain intervals of our life and we're judged on those intervals, then it would be a bad representation of who we are today.
Wow, yeah, that is really perfectly said. Yeah.
Because that's what I worry.
Don't judge me on
about.
my socials. That's
that's what I'm mainly worried about.
Yeah, that is so true. And you just have to be wary. But I don't even know if nowadays people really even contain their social media for like jobs, because I've always heard like just bosses look at your like Instagram, all your socials. So
I guess it would depend on the job, right?
That's true.
Like if you're gonna be a garbage man, I don't think they're gonna.
Definitely not.
Hold on.
You can have an OnlyFans and still do that and be a garbage man. Yes.
OnlyFans, that whole thing.
I heard it's called Oof. Like Oof.
I thought it was like I thought it was an extension of Instagram, but I'm an idiot.
Oh, really?
I'm not right about that. There's no way. You know what I mean? I just assumed that. I don't know why. It was one of those things that you don't care to look into, so you just make an opinion about it.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I know, but yeah, I'm all for trying to tone back. It was on Netflix, I forgot the show, but maybe I'll recall it later, but maybe, what was it? But it was basically, I want to try to get to a point of like less social media. Like that's why I don't have a TikTok, because it's just like, it's more so. But I also do like being creative, so that's why I do find it hard to like delete my social media because of that reason. Because you do like to post, like you said, like you were into photography, and it is still a way to like communicate with people you haven't. But then it's like, why are you posting for people that like don't even like you, or like they're just following you just to keep up with you? So all that comes into play. But yeah, there's a really good Netflix.
You're fake friends with people?
Oh my god.
Like, what's the point of that? Like, so you won't help me with anything.
Like, they don't like any of your stuff, but you know they're watching.
Yeah, like, why are you projecting to all these people? Like, do they really care? Because, like, do you care about them? Like, some people, yes. Yeah. But, like, majority, no. I mean, think about how many you unfollow, but still stay friends with. Yeah. Just so you don't have to see their shit, but you got that number on you.
Yeah. I guess that access to that person, yeah.
I think that's good, though. I think that's good you do social cleanses. That's probably a good thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, because it just I never used to be that addicted to, like, social media, but it just can be so catchy. Like, if you post something, you're always going to check, like, who views your story, or who you want to view your story.
Yeah, you get, like, a little dopamine reward. It's like, hey, you feel good a little bit.
Did you watch it on Netflix? What is it? The Social Dilemma. It's called The Social Dilemma, and it's on Netflix. I've seen
like the trailers. I haven't watched it though.
It's so good. I feel like you would really like it, but it creeps you out because it's I think they called it it's artificial intelligence. So basically, they know everything, what you like and what you don't like. So your Instagram is going to look completely different to mine depending on my likes and what I view. So they all calculate it to like just take up all your attention. And basically, to simplify the social dilemma, it's you're the product, which is kind of sad, and you're watching all these ads that like you're not even getting money for, that social media is getting money for you watching the ads. And
is it like real, or is it like
it's real, yeah.
So it's not like a story written. It's like,
no, it's a true story, and people who worked at Google that left Google and all that, were telling how they made social media to become so addictive. Yeah, and kind of how it's like rooted in your psychology, like the masterminds behind Facebook, like they wanted to trigger our weaknesses and they got us at our weakest point because we need like attention and that's something like we all crave. So they like mastered to take up like most of our time, which is pretty sad. So that's why I try to do social cleanses, and it was so good. I'm like, I need to delete my socials, and of course there's like a hippie on there, and he's like, delete your socials, and I'm like, it's so hard. No, I'm kidding. But no, you don't need to. It's just, it's also about what you post and the quality of what you post.
Yeah,
and
like
I think
what you're doing.
Yeah, so that's what I started to do. But yeah, he was saying that this machine, it calculates everything that you like, so they only show you things that you like and send you videos that you like, that to keep you on that platform the longest, because then that platform gets the most money because ads pay them, businesses pay them, and it's this whole ordeal. So you're the product, and it's like your time's at like stake.
That's what you're doing. You're paying them time.
Yeah.
Your time.
So, social cleanse. So I'm on one. Long story short, I'm on one, and it's definitely helpful. Because you can feel bad, like, if you're not at a certain point in your life, but everything's fabricated. Like, everybody posts like they're on vacation, but they're not actually on vacation.
No.
Like, you know they're around you, so it's just funny how, like, the world that we do live in now with that.
We got hijacked to think that we need to do stuff to be valued.
Yeah.
So like you gotta post this picture. Like if you go on vacation, you gotta like advertise it this way.
Gotta post a thirst trap.
You go to prom.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. You got a new car. Like you're programmed to do these things.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of goes full circle to what we were talking about before about like at a certain point like you just feel empty. Like you're kind of like if you're not doing something that you enjoy, that's giving you reward and that's making you a better you and giving you the push to keep going, then you're gonna have nothing in the end. And like I feel like a lot of people hit that moment and they're like, well, I've been doing these things to distract me for so long, what do I do now?
It's so many, because there's now so many things to distract you from real life, so
they're needed to a degree.
Yeah, they are.
What else are you gonna fucking do? Just stare at the wall?
Yes, especially during now COVID and everything, but yeah. So we do need the distraction. But like you said, to a certain degree.
Yes.
Take your time.
The Roaring 20s, I think we need.
Yeah, it's to establish. Go on.
Yeah. I think we need to like keep it at this level though. I don't think we need to separate it anymore. I think if we separate it anymore, it's gonna be bad. Yeah. Because people already barely have time for each other. Yeah. So if we go any further down that rabbit hole, it is just the next step is gonna be, inequality moves. Like it's gonna turn into a bad world. Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
Yes, I love Black Mirror.
Oh my god, that gives me so much anxiety. Speaks to me. Like that gives me so much anxiety. And I'm referring to the one episode where the bike pedaling episode. Oh, where they have to pedal the bikes to generate electricity. That's their job. So
I feel like I've seen it. It's been a while.
I'll give you the gist. Everybody lives in a cubicle of TV screens, and when you're watching TV, playing a video game, whatever, an ad will pop up, and you got to pay real money to be able to skip the ad, or you got to watch the entire ad.
Oh, I have,
You remember what I'm talking about? That's terrifyingly close to just only like 100 years off. That's terrifyingly close.
Yeah, because like you said, we're only valued for the productivity of what we're doing.
And what happens when and I'm not scared of robots taking over the world. I'm scared of robots replacing the value of humans. I'm more so scared of the government, not the government, because it's not their fault. When we do replace jobs with complete robots, we need to figure out a way to make people have a fulfilled, enjoyed life not working. And what I'm worried about is I'm not caring about that aspect and only caring about the robots making them money, where corporations become bigger than human rights. And we already see stuff like that, like Apple with the suicide nets around their fucking towers. They're allowed to go to China and make towers and put suicide nets around them because so many people jump out the window.
making the like Apple products. Or,
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! I heard
Their
the
suicide
conditions
nuts.
are so bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So that's what corporations will do.
Mhm.
And that's what they'll do if they have the ability to do it.
Wow.
So, if, like, right now we live in an awesome time, but it's a step away from a bad time if we don't carefully navigate it.
Mhm.
Like, look at these companies like Amazon and Tesla.
Mhm.
Like, these are huge companies right now that are essentially taking over. It seems like Tesla is creating semi-trucks that can get 65 miles to the gallon. They're going to completely replace every single semi-truck on the planet. Tesla specifically.
Yeah.
Because they've been working on these products forever. While other companies were like, we'll side project electric cars, self-driving cars, Tesla's main thing was that. And that's what they've been doing. It's kind of like Windows. You know what I mean? It was the first one created, and to this day it is still used. But then like Apple comes along and makes it look clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Tesla is the essential Apple of all of these other Windows users, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
What happens when they take over the market to the point where they're the only seller? Now, I know in America there's laws against being in a monopoly, but, I mean, there's other countries, and clearly that's why they're such poor conditions in those countries, is because there are other countries that allow them to do that.
Yeah.
So what happens when this corporation becomes more powerful than the military, becomes more powerful only because people like the product so much in the beginning that they're giving away their rights, giving away their freedoms to get these new technologies. And then at what point do we say, like, yeah, we're going to trust them forever? No, because that's just a step away. That's just a step away.
Yeah, how to check them. And I feel
how
like...
to check them.
Yeah, like who's going to check them once they're that powerful?
When they're also, outside the government.
Yeah, that's so true. That's also, that comes full circle to even the internet. Like, Facebook and all of that, like the rules, like they're just so powerful. It's like there's no laws on what they should be doing, or like more towards the ethical like progress of more so trying to not create so much polarization and what should be shown and what should not.
It's creepy, you know, because like Apple will show you these trailers to Americans. They'll never show you how it was made. But they'll advertise how like you can film your kid with it. But then there's this kid over here missing an arm making it. You know what I mean?
That's so true. Like when they release their new Apple product, like it's all so happy. Everyone's smiling in the videos, the slow motion ones that you see like on every year when they post like their new iPhone. But that is really that's really sad.
And speaking of that, I haven't heard anybody talk about conditions like that in a while. No one talks about your shoes being made by third world countries anymore. You know what I mean? Have they bypassed the education system to the point where people might not know that anymore? Or not be well informed enough about it? If they're able to control the advertisements, if they're able to control their position on the searches, if they're able to control...
That is very true. Yeah, I know,
They could technically manufacture a reality that only you would perceive that they want you to see. Yeah. That's creepy.
It is really creepy. Yeah, that's what freaks me out about being online too. The fact that I see different things that my sister sees, like, because she thinks like there's gonna be like a whole entire World War III, like all this like more rioting, or just like the world is like going crazy, and like I have not got that from my social media. like it's so funny how like the difference what she sees online compared to what but then it like creates people to be even more crazy depending on what they see. Like if they see these crazy like maybe videos, like who knows if they're real, like it's just all these things. So it's just funny, like we're all living in a different world than one another.
You know why those crazy people are crazy?
Why are people crazy, you said?
Because no one ever told them what they should do, like how they should be. Yeah. So they were probably alone for so long that...
Expose these parents, Julian.
Well, these people probably...
These deadbeat dads.
They were probably treated like equally as poorly by everybody, to the point where when they finally found somebody who gave them a little community, they adopted their beliefs. Because you got no one else. Yeah. So like those people are able to exist because there's so many other people who have that same problem. And it's because no one's sitting down and telling them like how they should act, and not to like believe everything, to do their own research, to really live in the moment more than live in the idea of the next. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it kind of, I heard a really interesting way someone put, how they put reincarnation. They said, even if reincarnation is real, it doesn't matter about what's next, because this is the life you're living right now. Yeah. This is the one you remember. This is the one you're experiencing. Doesn't matter what the next one is. This one's the one you're in.
Yeah, wow.
And I heard this.
I like that.
I like certain things like that. That like
Me too.
really, yeah. And there's one other that I like, and it said, man, I'm losing my train of thought on that. There was we were talking about what was the last quote I just said?
You said, oh, my sister Haley. My bad. I'll leave it for a second. You were saying, damn. I'm so sorry.
I think it's like a good intermediate point.
It might be the white claw.
We should, we're going to take a break real quick.
Yeah.
I think that's a good moment for a break. I don't know how fucking long. We're 1 hour in.
You were saying about, oh yeah.
We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll
come back. Pause. All right, we're back.
Yes, we were back.
We needed like a little bit of a detox to come back. Yeah. It was getting the midway point.
We were like, what did we say last? It's the white claw for me, I think. Just why I'm not a drinker, but I don't know why I'm like in a haze, like I guess a brain fog.
Well, is it good?
What? Oh, yeah.
It's like a pleasant fog?
I don't know. I think it's just, I need to wake up earlier. Because when you oversleep, I think that's what gets you.
It can.
That's what's happening with me.
You know how you fix that? Is you go outside and you like just get sunlight into your eyes.
Wow, really?
That works for me because I like to sleep long. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I get in my car and I just drive around to get the most amount of sunlight into my eyes that I can get, and then I feel good. And then I feel good, and I tell you, like when I'm at work and that building has no windows on it, so like sometimes you start feeling sick. I'll go outside and I'll get the sunlight again, and I feel normal again.
Wow.
I have to do that like 5 times a day just to get the sunlight. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you take the time to go out.
Yeah. So
that's self-care.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes, my favorite show. And I'm not into I guess you wouldn't call it like anime, or if you would associate with that, whatever that genre would be, but
it's animation.
Okay,
I think that's an easy way to put it.
That's my favorite, and I've never been into any like cartoon like that or like any anime because I'm not into that's the only one. Yeah, I'm not into really any
shows that treat you like kids.
Yeah, but there's so much wisdom in that show. Like I recommend to like everyone.
And they treat the viewer like an adult, knowing that it's a kid age range.
Yeah.
Like they talk about like really significant shit.
Yeah, like so many good like I have so many good quotes from them. Like there was one like it was love is brightest in the dark, and I was like, wow, that is so true. But it's just like silly things like that, but so much inspiration from that like that show. It's so good. I love it. I wish they had another one. They didn't make the movie right at all.
They did Legend of Korra.
They did. I'm getting more into
It's good.
That.
It's really good.
I think I'm on season 1, so it's harder to get into.
It's good. It's
okay,
cool. Well, I liked it because it was like a modernized version of it. So like the fighting ring, she gets into like a fighting combat scene. Like it's pretty dope.
It's not like an older time, but I did miss that. But that's so true because it's harder for me to get into that because it transitions from, the Avatar: The Last Airbender to like literally everybody dying. Oh, spoiler alert.
I think it's old enough.
Okay, well, but yeah. So to like only Katara is alive, like that hit me the most. I was like, she was the only one alive.
Sokka, Katara.
Oh, he's alive?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll have to watch more into it. I'm still in season 1.
I think. I know there's a couple people like who's one? I think the crazy old Earthbender's still alive, but I could be completely wrong. I feel like that could be a fake memory. No, not Toph. She died because her daughter's alive in that one, and she's older. You might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, I think
you
it's only
might be
Katara,
right.
and she's like this grandma, and I'm like, that happened so fast.
Yeah.
Like, how they transitioned it, and I was like really sad. I was like, because you like those characters. Like, I like them. Like they could have done so much with it. I felt like with the first one. That's
the
why.
first one.
Yeah, to like make it a second one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they can always bring another Avatar in, right? They can. I think they should do a modern one now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see UFC earthbending.
You
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be really cool.
That would. Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because they kind of touched on like the martial arts of it transitioning to this whole new fighting league where you do like you do half pulls instead of full rock pulls. They'll do like half rock kicks so that you can hit people faster and you can keep your body moving so that you're not a hitting target. It's cool because it's kind of like how we used to fight like before the Civil War. Like they used to just line up and just shoot at each other because that was like the honor code. And then and then we were like, no, let's guerrilla warfare. Let's just run around the trees and shoot at them. They're like, hey, you're not allowed to do that.
Oh my.
So that's essentially what happened was like the original waterbending. I'm gonna stand right here and do this stuff to you. Like, you know, I'm standing right here. Literally, you can hit me at any point. And then they were like, no, you got to keep moving while you're doing it. I thought that was really cool. I like when they go in depth about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I wish that was real. That would be super cool.
I know. Okay, which power would you want to have?
Earth.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting. Earth. Okay, I see that for you.
I picked it a long time ago.
I feel like it's it's most one of the most. I mean, all of them like intertwine and balance each other like yin and yang. But yeah, I feel like for me, I fire. I do like fire, but I do like water. But I like fire more because like electricity and I just like
they got
like
the lightning. Yeah.
So I just feel like I think it would be fire. That is my horoscope sign. But I did like water because I like to be more peaceful. I'm kind of more of like I'm not like the aggressive like Aries, but I like to be like I don't know. So I really like the healing properties like they have with like the water sign. So a mixture of both.
Someone brought up a point to me that airbending can do it all.
No.
Yeah, they brought up a good point to me because there's oxygen molecules in water. Not only that, they can.
Maybe they're really onto something with picking air.
Yeah, and he was telling me, he was like, if you want to throw a rock, you just lift it in the air with the air. I was like, oh, that's a good point too.
Oh my god, why did we not think of
this? Yeah. And then like fire, he was like, well, you're feeding it oxygen. You could just control the airflow around it so it doesn't put it out. You just feed it oxygen. So you could have an internal flame as long as you had a fuel source, which you could also support with the air.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's all really situational. It's all situational.
It is. Yeah, you won't have that like moment's notice, like when you really do need it. Like you have to carry all of that. Like you're
you gotta
going
think
camping.
it through. like hold on.
Yeah.
I saw something funny that said it was like a meme and it was about Avatar: The Last Airbender and it was quoting like how did the prisoners not pee bend their way out of there?
Literally.
You know what I mean? Because they could like slice through like metal with water. So like wouldn't they just? How did they control that? You know what I mean? Because some of them would be able to bend without doing movements. Especially, I think it's Legend of Korra. Are you cool if I give you a spoiler?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, there's a dude who can fly.
Oh.
And he's an airbender. And it's a part of airbending. But you have to give up all of your worldly possessions. So you have to completely cut yourself out of the human experience. So like, essentially you gotta lose the love in you to be able to fly.
Wow. Because
you're no longer connected to that part of the earth. Yeah.
So he had to in order to airbend and all?
Well, a girl kind of got her head blown up, and it was his girlfriend. She was another evil, crazy person.
Oh.
Yeah.
We all know one of them.
And then he was like, I know how to fly now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he
that
would
kind of reminds me of
fly like that. Like,
that kind of reminds me. Okay, but this is a spoiler. Have you seen Wonder Woman? Like the second one, the new one.
The new one?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can talk about that.
Oh yeah, we can.
It's just so brand new. That's like a week old. Oh my goodness.
Okay, recommend. It's good, but a lot of people are like just the first one. But I heard it's that. So long though.
I heard that the second one. I heard the new one wasn't the best.
No.
Yeah, a few people told me that.
I still liked it, but
they said they used more color in the posters than the damn videos.
Oh. Yeah.
It's true though, but DC is supposed to be darker. They don't have to be, but I think that's what they're like. All right, Marvel's fun. We're the dark superheroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they could do it better. Like, I wish that they would. I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe a director issue or if maybe it's a Warner Brothers issue. It's probably a Warner Brothers issue. There's probably a lot of writers, a lot of copyright, a lot of scripts they want to put out for this, and this. So you have to write this in. There's probably not a whole lot of control. And I feel like Marvel might have the control. I wonder if it's maybe like a sourcing issue. Like, maybe Marvel is like, you guys have an unlimited restrictions. You can go like alternative realities. You can do like alternative versions of superheroes. And maybe DC is like, you got to check first. You know what I mean? So maybe the freedom allows them to express it better. Because I like how Marvel does it, but I want a good dark DC movie, and none of them can really achieve that. You know what I mean? Have you ever watched? You said you didn't like any really cartoons, but have you ever watched the animated Justice Leagues or Batmans?
Batman, yeah, I have.
Which one? There's probably 100.
I'm so bad with them.
TV show or movie?
I want to say it was a TV show. Yeah.
Was it Batman Beyond? Was it?
I did watch the one. Who did he fight? I'm so bad. Like that in Star Wars. Like I could not tell you the movie I watched or Harry Potter because there's so many. But I did watch. Maybe no. I don't know. He was battling somebody in the movie. Okay, I watched the TV show and a movie, but it's so long ago. But it was one for Batman who was battling. Do you recall who he was battling? It was like his.
Everybody.
Oh my god.
Like it
don't quiz me on
this. It could have been Superman. Those are the most popular ones.
I think it was. Yes, it was. I think it was Superman. Yeah, he was battling. So I saw that one, but yeah, clearly I can't remember any detail from it.
You're good. There's a lot. There's a lot, but they're pretty cool too because they treat you like it's real. Like there's this one movie that's I think it's Flashpoint Paradox, and it's the alternative reality. And like in the normal Batman, Bruce Wayne, he's Batman, and his two parents got shot in Crime Alley. Literally in Crime Alley. Like that's how they wrote the script.
Yeah.
In Paradox, it's Thomas Wayne, something like that, but it's the father, and his son and wife got shot in Crime Alley instead. And this dude uses guns. This Batman uses guns, kills people. He's got like hooks on his shoulders. He's got a red bat symbol. Yeah, and he's like out for revenge from his kids getting killed. So it's like an alternative reality looking into it. I like stuff like that.
Oh yeah, where it connects to like real issues.
Yeah, because you could. Well, yeah, because you could like what were we talking about that they should bring back? Oh, Avatar.
Oh yeah.
You could like redo it in a different reality, and I'm gonna buy that. Like if you just tell me that, I'll buy that. But now I get to watch more of what I want to watch, and it's not just the same shit. Like Legend of Korra, exactly. You could pretty much do that with any show.
Yeah. Oh, you feel like that with? What do you mean?
They should. Okay, so like Harry Potter specifically, they're kind of trying to do that now. But how many times are we gonna watch Harry Potter?
You're right.
How many times are we gonna watch Star Wars? Now again, they're starting to do it now, but
oh my god,
it's only
seriously. Now. Thank God, I know. Did you feel that way about Twilight? No, Twilight wasn't that much, but like
I watched most of them too.
Oh, me too. But it's so funny. I feel like nowadays that movie wouldn't make it. Because it's so looking back at it, like
I think you're right.
Because it's so different now, like just how society is, but it's so cringy to like watch like the first movie of Twilight because I don't know, like just how they act and everything like that. I feel like that movie wouldn't do well now if it like was released now. Like it wouldn't have made like people wouldn't be that excited for it. Yeah, it wouldn't be as big. I think because I don't know, maybe more so people. It's just
maybe because it was already done.
That too, but like no, I mean like if it swapped roles, I feel like it wouldn't have got that so much hype. So like, but yeah, I did watch all of them. I still did like Twilight, but it was okay. Yeah,
I like the one.
It was good.
What's the one up? What was the movie where They have the war. The vampires have the war.
Is it the Twilight, the last saga?
Yeah.
I think it's that
but there was
one,
two of those, right? There's part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, there is.
They were the first people to do that, I think. Then Harry Potter did Deathly Hallows part 1 and part 2.
Oh yeah.
I think
yeah,
Twilight
right.
did it first.
Twilight did. Yeah, and I think there's only three movies for Twilight. I think.
In my head, I was imagining like 5.
Oh really? Maybe
I
you're
could
right.
be wrong. I could be wrong.
Oh.
Here, we can look it up. I like that one though, but you know what really irritated me?
What?
It was all a dream.
Oh my god! Yes.
It was just happening in his head. That was it. I was like,
why?
It was awesome till that point. I was like, oh my god, this is Twilight. Like that's how it should be.
Oh my god, yeah. You brought up another so disappointed in that.
That was I wonder how many Twilight movies there really are.
Maybe you're right. But at least they didn't make that many movies of that, so they did good with that. Because Harry Potter, but I did like Harry Potter. Surprisingly, I liked, what was the movie? Oh, The Hobbit. I loved The Hobbit. I don't know why I was so into that, but like one Christmas, I literally kept rewatching it because it kept like playing on HBO. Like it just kept playing, so I kept watching it. But I don't know. I really got into The Hobbit. I really liked it for some reason. Yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan of The Lord of the Rings. I don't know why. I think it's because my mom watched every single one, and she would just leave them playing on the TV.
Oh my god.
So that probably did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's 5.
Oh, you were right. Okay.
Damn.
Okay,
I pulled that out of my ass.
I said
don't know
3.
how. That's fucked up.
The fans are gonna come for me.
Well, you know why? There was 3, and then the last saga was part 1 and part 2. So then it's 5 total, I guess.
Got you. I know. It's so crazy. I know. I always get like those like on Snapchat. It's like, what are these normal celebrities doing now, or like these childhood celebrities, and it's just funny. I don't know. I heard Taylor, like, it's so crazy when you do break through, like people only remember you for those roles. So it's like a blessing and a curse, because then you're like stuck as like, oh, you're the guy from Twilight, or like the wolf.
Home Alone kid.
Oh my god, yeah. And it's just so crazy, like seeing how like what they like do now too. I don't know what he's doing, but Taylor Lautner, I think he's just not starring in like really well-known roles that I saw. So, but he's still living his like best life. And another actress that I miss is Cameron Diaz. Like she left Hollywood and everything like that. But I think everyone now is leaving. Jennifer
Lawrence.
Did she leave Hollywood?
Well, did you notice that she disappeared?
Oh no!
She had Hunger Games. She was blowing up. She had that movie Silver Lining, and then nothing.
Aww.
But you know what did happen? Her nudes got leaked.
That's why you think?
Well, I think there was a combination of that. And
yeah.
She had an interview that I watched one time, and she said that her mind went to a really dark place after filming a movie, because you got to put yourself in that role.
You do, yeah.
She said she got in a dark place, and it took her a while to figure out that she wasn't really her anymore, and how to get out of that. And that's kind of like a freaky thing. Like, how many roles can you do till you start losing who you are?
Yeah. How does Meryl Streep do it? Like,
I think they're all crazy. I think you have to be crazy. You know what I mean?
To be, an actor, yeah.
And I think that's why they pull out and look at actors after acting and before acting. You haven't noticed the difference?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, all of them.
Oh yeah, they're all different.
All different, very different. Will Smith, prior to post, they all become this crazy like.
I think he's not. Is he? You think?
I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I mean crazy like they have all.
He's
this
more
energy.
Spiritual now. I know. I mean, he probably always been Will Smith, but he's very. I don't know.
He's very active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow.
Social medias and everything, but like I feel like he's more active than he ever was when he was filming. Like he's doing YouTube videos. He's doing YouTube rewinds. Wow. Yeah. He does like. He's always like on the Ellen DeGeneres show for having like he makes jokes about Jaden Smith's videos. So like he'll dress up like Jaden Smith and do the same.
Oh my god, I love her, but yeah,
yeah,
she's wild. Yeah, I love all her art and everything like that. I I love the mom too. Jaden Smith. She's really.
I don't even want to get into that whole thing after that controversy.
Oh
that happened.
my!
That I feel like that was blown out of proportion.
Yes, it really was.
God.
I felt for her. Yeah, that's not it.
So I saw your yawn.
Yes.
I think we're time to wrap it up. I'm feeling it too.
I'm honored to be on your podcast.
We'll do it again for sure.
I'm really thankful for you bringing me on here and
anytime, literally.
You're an amazing soul. I feel like we need to end it talking about you because in the beginning you were just hyping me up too much. But no, you're a beautiful soul and I'm very grateful to like work with you and see you pretty daily. And just you're very intelligent. I'm really happy like you're on just like everyone's finding and learning everything about themselves each day, and I'm glad like you're doing this and you're just being an inspiration. Like just chase your dreams and do like your pursuit, and you don't have to like know everything that you're doing, but just constantly just keep moving. You know, I feel like that's great that you're doing this podcast, and like there just needs to be more conversations to be had. So, and you're so knowledgeable, so you're the perfect guy for it. But I'm very like happy to see where like this leads you in this journey, in this endeavor, because you deserve it and you're a beautiful soul, like I said.
Well, you know what it is, man? It's
keep shining.
Everybody's got to do something.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you might not be happy if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And like you were kind of saying, like I want to do this for everybody who's questioning whether they can or not.
Yeah.
Or when like they're at that job and they got that job finally and they don't know what to do anymore. If their goal isn't to stay there, and they got to start thinking about something else. And we were talking about like socialization. Like I started noticing there was a lot of things lacking in my life that I really felt like were probably the realest things in life that we need. And now I'm able to invite people over and like get to talk to people, and like it's like really interesting. And I think this is how everybody should live. I think everybody should follow their dreams. And I've had a lot of failed ventures where I tried to find a hobby or do something and it just didn't work out. And I could have given up at all of them, but now I kind of feel like obligated to do this for everybody else. I really feel like if I had the ability to bring everybody with me, like I could. Like I always had this idea to make like a website where I could have all my friends on the website, and whatever they did specifically, it would be on that website. So you could have somebody who makes like, I don't know, river tables with resin. You could have somebody who does photography. You could have somebody who does writing. But it would be able to market all of my friends and have them do better and have a collected area, because you may not find that unless it's right there with you. You might only be into reading right now, but you might not even know if you're into photography unless it's there. But I always had this idea, and life's very difficult to be able to keep stuff going or do stuff, especially with the time, how much time we have when we decide to do something. So this is my best effort to do it for everybody else as well as me. Like I wanna have a good life. I wanna live the life that I watch, So not
You're
me.
gonna have it.
But you can be on any time, absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I loved it. I'm really glad we had this conversation.
It's fun.
We're gonna have more.
It's a little awkward at first, but then it gets good. It's pretty good.
Definitely.
All right, man. Well, I think we're done here.
Yes.
All right.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
See ya.